rotate down through Pop Dog and attack on the other side anyway.
I mean, that's not a fun way to start on 2 health. The good thing is that on Train, he can actually put so much distance between him and the Glocks that USPS could still be lethal even at 2 health. We see Blade setting up for 1 smoke, and Markelov puts in the other one, so that's for the A wall, and they've got a couple of people ready to at least make some noise on Pop Dog here, but this is a huge fake towards the B bomb side, and right now Copenhagen Wolves, they're buying it. There's only 1 person on B, and he's got 2 health from the initial fight. bondik gonna get very close here. zEVES trying to get in the help. Bombs being put down as well, but Twist, he's actually gonna get a kill before he dies, and that's amazing.
Yeah, it certainly is, and there's a defuse kit in the hands of Copenhagen Wolves, so if they can start to rip on some heads, but that's just not gonna happen. A complete lockout from FlipSid. And just thinking, maybe Twist's kill could have been huge, but it's the only kill they got in the end.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. You know, that's impressive. When you got 2 health, you should be dead immediately. And then it looked decent. They were all on the bomb site fairly quick. They managed to rotate in, but it was like a blender. They got destroyed in that bomb site. So a great start here for FlipSid. They're gonna actually not even invest that heavily into this round.
Yeah, just CZ 5.7s as well thrown in for good measure. FlipSid have themselves 3 assault rifles with 2 Tech 9s, and of course, it wouldn't be this current patch without a Zeus thrown in for good measure on Markelov. We're speaking to nothing before. He seems pretty happy with himself with some of the frags he got yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if it works, if it turns out it is OP, as we like to say, the team should absolutely use them. I hope no one's going to blame the players for doing it.
Yeah.
And if weapon's good, you should use it in a competition like this. No reason to shy away from it. I'm not sure if it's been sort of conclusively proven yet that it is, but maybe we'll see as we go on here. Pretty easy into this round, it seems like. There's not a lot you can do with just USPS and no armor.
Yeah, it's kind of the expectation here coming into this round. We said just a couple, 5.7s, I think, with the CZ. Yeah. That was it. So comfortable on for FlipSid. Didn't lose any plays in the process, so that's nice for them. And already scamping towards that 2-0. However, because of that previous eco, are we going to see some weapons coming in now?
I mean, if this is a best-of-3 qualifier, I feel like if this was best-of-1, I'd actually be all for Copenhagen Wolves trying to cheat here and buy around early against FlipSid, just for like the surprise factor. Because it's best-of-3, I feel like you're not under a lot of pressure to try and enforce this. So I would almost be a bit disappointed if they did it here. I feel like, you know, they're starting CT side on Train. They might as well just take it slow. They did buy a couple of grenades, and maybe they did a little bit of damage to those.
And I guess with the CT economy being the way it is, it can be so punishing if you go for that force and then it quickly backfires on you. As we're speaking, though, again, as expected, FlipSid are just going to town. It's all on jkaem with the P250. Nice headshot. He's been spotted from behind, picks up the kill, and there's bondik's Tech 9 ripping him back down again. So now here will come the buy from Copenhagen Wolves.
We're going to see what they could figure out early on. Everybody, I think, at this stage knows that having an AWP on the CT side of Train is going to be important. So I'm looking forward to seeing if they could pick one up. They've had a couple of different people opening Copenhagen Wolves, that is. I think Twist has been doing a decent enough job, and he is going to pick it up. But RUBINO as well, and that's not his usual role. Twist, I would say, is an all-round player, which is one of the reasons why I think he's so exciting to watch. He could do almost anything, sort of like an Olaf Meister or Forrest type player, but RUBINO doing it as well now.
So really committing into this round. You can see 26.5k on the board for Copenhagen Wolves with those 2 AWPs. There's glass cannon for RUBINO. So far, so good for Copenhagen Wolves. Haven't lost any players. RUBINO's AWP is trained up Ivy. There is a player scampering backwards and forwards. That's going to be Markelov. And very reminiscent of that first round here, Anders. Just playing it slow, just trying to feel out the opposition, see what FlipSid can get.
Yeah, but they've got some setups. They had a really cool pistol fake. I mean, honestly, that's going to be a round that's worth analyzing for a while to go. Just because that was really well done. They had the smokes. They had the peek in from Pop Dog. And this round, they seem to be ready as well. They had a pop flash just to make sure they could get this far up. And they've got so many grenades to set up here. You can see the first ones raining in, Molotovs to follow as well. It's going to be hard for zEVES to hold here.
It certainly will be. Does have the cavalry coming in the form of Twist. And who knows, maybe if he can start to find his form here early on in this first map, things will go well for Copenhagen Wolves. That being said, though, FlipSid haven't managed to get onto the site just yet, and only 25 seconds left on the timer. zEVES has picked up the first frag. He gets traded out. Bomb is being planted, though, from FlipSid. And this is going to be a rough retake from the Copenhagen Wolves roster. WorldEdit has just chimed in with a frag as well.
He's going to go down to RUBINO. jkaem getting very close here, and he hits a headshot, but he dies to Markelov, and now it is going to be that 2 versus 2 retake, but there's still a Molotov left. Even as they put that one down, Markelov has a second one, and that's going to make things really difficult when you're trying to defuse that bomb. Markelov here takes a fight, but he goes down to Twist. That bomb's still not being defused, and bondik, great timing, takes down RUBINO, and now it's all on Twist. He's got no health, and he has to make a run for it. If he could steal an AWP along the way, it'd be great. bondik obviously going to explode with the bomb, and Twist, he's going to survive. Can he go back and steal the AWP? You can see he's looking for one somewhere. I'm not sure if he was successful. We'll find out in a second. That actually looked like a round that was about to slip out of the hands of FlipSid, because you saw when they pushed upper, they actually failed the initial flashbang and flashed one of their own players. So the timing between the lower push and the upper push got disjointed just enough that it actually gave room for zEVES to get the first kill without getting returned immediately. So there was some mistake there on FlipSid, but they made it work anyway.
Yeah, and you saw with like 25 seconds to go, Twist did get a frag onto the bomb site, so I'm thinking, okay, they've got this locked down, no problems from here on out, but then the frags came in from FlipSid. The rest, of course, is history. Just the M4, so that is answering the question. They weren't able to pick up the AWP from the previous round. Blade's in a good position here. They're going to push right into his crosshairs. There's the first frag. He may not expect more players here, but he's going to be smoking it. Doesn't get caught with the smoke out. Going to be peeking around the corner. Looks like he will get that second frag. And another good start for FlipSid, who are looking poised to take the 5-0 lead potentially right off the bat.
RUBINO going to go down as well. Blade doing pretty good work here in the main entrance to the A courtyard. zende and zEVES are going to be the only 2 left right here, and I even spoke too soon almost. zende goes down. Just a small detail, I'm not sure why when Twist had 2 people with him and he had the rifle and armor, he insisted on being the first guy in. I feel like he could have had someone jump for him, because there's almost no way there isn't going to be someone holding in that area. That's almost 100% sure. So have someone with just, you know, with no armor and pistol jump past, you know, spraying with the AK. Twist can come in and make it work afterwards. I feel like that would have been a safer choice here.
It's actually a really good point that you raise. It's typically something that a terrorist will do a lot, because you want to get the avenging frags, right?
Yeah.
Like if someone falls, you want someone else to pick up the weapons and get the return kills. So yeah, it's a bit of a head-scratching moment. Pause in here, I'm pretty sure.
This might be a technical thing.
Yeah, I saw a player leave, I think. So I think it's technical more than tactical.
So off to a good start is FlipSid overall. In spite of in the early AWP purchase here on Copenhagen Wolves, it's such a huge investment. I'm glad they made it. I think it's a great idea, but obviously it's a bit painful when you lose.
Oh, certainly, especially when you go with 2 of them as well. That's got to sting.
Now, Vince, I've been asking everyone else this. I need your input as well. If you could choose any superpower, which would it be? I think I chose the ability to stop time for everyone but me. zEVES chose...
That's an interesting one, actually. I never thought of it.
I think zEVES wanted to... I can't remember, like, spawn baguettes on... I can't remember what it was. Something like that. Go ahead. Dan wanted to try and get all the superpowers, because that was his superpower, apparently.
Oh, man. I think I'd go for kind of like... It sounds like a pervy one, but turn things visible so I could see through them. Right, so like X-ray vision almost. Yeah,
X-ray vision. Well, so this is the thing that zEVES and I, we ended up having a long discussion afterwards. This is what we realized. Nobody who gained superpowers actually would use them for good. Mm-hmm. It would be like sneak into the women's locker room or like steal things from grocery stores.
I love that's the first one you went for.
It wouldn't be like no one would actually do anything good with it. It's bizarre, isn't it? Says something about, you know, the way that people are.
The thing is, when you say see through things, like people's mind is instantly going to go there. It's going to go to the most perverted things you can think of.
It's just how the world works, you know.
Man, I like your answer though. Freeze time for everyone but yourself. That's pretty cool.
I just imagine like a really deep, like calm. Like imagine you're in like you're in the center of London or something, or like Times Square in New York, and you can just like make everything quiet. You know, just the calm of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably go to the bank and take some money out, and no one will ever find out. There are lots of perks here.
Well, you could effectively do whatever you wanted. The only downside is that if you froze it too much, you'd age faster than the people you loved.
That's true. Someone brought up this point as well. We made a rule that if I happened to die while time was frozen, it would unfreeze just to not stop the whole world. Well, we're back in the game. No more superpower talk, at least not for a while, unless some of the players bring out something incredible, which could still happen. They are on the CT side here, so we know that they're supposed to get at least the majority of the rounds on the Copenhagen Wolves side, so it's a bit of a tough start here, really.
Well, it definitely is a tough start, and you know, we were discussing the fact, obviously, it's a best of 3, it's still early days, you know, Copenhagen Wolves, there's no point pushing that self-destruct button just yet, but you did mention that, you know, tilt could be a potential factor going through into the latter stages, so if this continues to be the case, then maybe they will start to get into that mode, so it's important they keep their heads here.
Yeah, and I think you're right. They probably haven't gone completely nuts yet, but certainly it's a factor to worry about later on. Shoulder peek from Twist. He's baiting out a potential AWP shot. Of course, we can tell that none was going to come, but it's a really good idea just to be safe. WorldEdit has his on the terrorist side, as you were already mentioning earlier. That's probably going to be him doing the AWPing, and Twist has got his on the other side. It's a reasonable buy really coming out here from the CT side, I think.
Yeah, definitely. You can do more than enough work with this. Right up there's the smoke just stopping the Ivy push, but there's still so much time. That's just delaying the push if FlipSid want in. Only one player there. And WorldEdit missing a shot there, and does get on the second time of asking, so at least he has finally picked up that frag, and it's a pretty important one. It's on Twist as well, who's one of those key members that we discussed before.
Yeah, from the looks of the model, it didn't even look like Twist is dead, like maybe he was just resting a bit in that corner. What was the first shot from WorldEdit? There was that like a mid-air no-scope as he was jumping off? That looked like a misclick or something. Surprised, I mean, that's actually dangerous, you know, you give away the fact you're there and you still win the battle, that's kind of great. RUBINO making a bit of noise down at Ivy. jkaem going to peek on up. He gets the one frag, and you can see he's ready to transfer that spray on to the next player, but not going to get the chance. And now RUBINO trapped in the corner here, and he's going to go down to Markelov, who comes through. WorldEdit takes down jkaem, and now it's zende, last man left in a 1v4 here. And FlipSid, if they win this round, they're going to be at such a big advantage. zende goes down. They survive with 3 members, and Copenhagen Wolves, they're getting overrun right now.
Yeah, just getting battered. And it's not necessarily even one aspect of the map that's the real problem. I mean, just across the board, they're getting outplayed. It's got to be very worrying for them right now.
They are playing a very defensive style, I would say. There isn't much aggression. There's not much early information play. Twist was a little bit forward and trying to control that part of the map, which is a good idea. I mean, but as soon as he goes down, everything gets a bit weird. FlipSid now looking to change the pace, and they're a lot quicker this time around. And actually, Copenhagen Wolves have bought once again. I mean, they are at their max round loss bonus, so I guess they might as well just keep trying at this point.
Yeah, the only time when we've really seen a very aggressive push from Copenhagen Wolves is that round where I think Twist had the M4 and everyone else had the pistols. Other than that, it's been super passive, as you mentioned, apart from Twist, he's gone peeking a couple times. Now, speaking of Twist, he's going to be in the action once more, I have to feel, as he is coming round through the connector on towards the B side. zEVES is here all by his lonesome with the FAMAS. Twist has finally joined him with the AWP, but his teammate has gone down. Twist does just catch a glimpse of a player behind the site with the scout. He's going to be landing that first shot, does drop him pretty low, but the issue now is that bondik is just ripping faces once more, somehow escapes with the smoke in his hands, finally gets put down, but it's 3-on-2 still in favor of FlipSid.
Yeah, and it feels like Copenhagen Wolves are even just going to let go of this bomb site.
What?
WorldEdit takes down DavCost.
Hello?
I wish we could see what that was all about. He also took that shot mid-air. Maybe there's like a malfunction in his mouse or something. He's like a loose cannon at this point. He's going to peek and realize someone is there, and the bomb won't kill him. So 7-0 in spite of team kills and some nutty play. It works out.
I so wish we'd seen that.
Yeah,
just to gauge like what happened. Did someone quickly peek him and he just kind of a reaction shot, or I have absolutely no idea. But of course, it's really a drop in the ocean, right? FlipSid have a huge lead anyway on their T side. It's all good. It's not like that kill is going to destroy them.
It could be like a celebration shot, like if you're like a at some crazy wedding where people are shooting AKs into the air or something, That's not
a wedding I ever want to be invited to. I think I'll just chill on the sidelines. I'll probably get hit by a stray bullet by my luck. Speaking of which, zEVES just walks right into one. And there's the aggressive play we're asking for, but again, Copenhagen Wolves, they start with a man down.
And now, I think because of the pressure that's on them here, they're really rotating heavily towards the B-bomb side immediately. And that could be a problem. Twist with an important kill, but he's going to get shot in the back. And everybody from the CT side over at that B-bomb site, while Blade has secured the A-bomb site and is just calling in for teammates here. 4 versus 3. A tough retake on the hands here of the Swedish-Norwegian mix. RUBINO going to be trying to spray down one there. Does a lot of damage, and they almost line up for zende. They still just can't land these kills.
That's the issue, really. In another day, Copenhagen Wolves would be connected in these shots. They would have had a couple more rounds, you have to feel, maybe even 3 or 4 on this board. But instead, as it stands, FlipSid will be moving to 8-0. This is just quickly getting out of hand. And it's like, of course, it's still early days, but FlipSid will be winning this half regardless of what happens from here on out.
Yeah, I would have said even if FlipSid got 6 rounds in the first half here, they'd be in a pretty good spot. You know, 6-9, it's not so bad. T-side, a train. And I think we've got an actual tactical pause this time around. It must be for Copenhagen. Well, it's probably a good time to take it. This game is not over and done with. I mean, if they can make a good comeback here, there's still, you know, a chance they can win this map, but it is kind of scary right now. It's hard to know exactly what they could do differently. I feel like they have actually tried now a couple of different things just to make it work. But the worrying sign for me here is that over-rotation into B. When you start making those calls, that tells me that you're just kind of you're so lost for what's happening. You're saying, well, let's all go B. You know, I hope that they end up pushing it.
I guess there's no real respite either from Copenhagen Wolves. Like, they're in a position now where they have to win like every single round to really stand a good chance. And the nightmare of the CT is, right, you wipe out the round loss bonus. If you win a round, that's not good enough. You have to win consecutive rounds.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're then into a really crappy force buyer or potentially an eco. You're looking at double digits then for FlipSid, then going through into the CT side. And they're a team that I feel is actually very strong on their CT sides as well. So it's like this comedy of errors starts to come into place. I completely agree with this tactical timeout. They simply have to go for this and figure out what's going wrong.
Some high fives there on FlipSid. Blade in the middle, currently helping to call his team to victory, and we've got zEVES on the other side, captain of Copenhagen Wolves. Gonna have to come up with something here. They've got, you know, they've stolen an AK previously, they've got a couple of M4s. They don't have the AWP to rely on anymore, but maybe they could try and play a different style here. As jkaem is being very aggressive, trying to see if he can get close. And this is a position that if TSM was playing it, would be Carrigan playing all the way up here. Very aggressive and close to main. It does put some pressure on the terrorist side.
It certainly does, but the issue is that even if you are applying the pressure here on the map, there's still so many other places that you have to cover from the CT's perspective, and it's kind of all areas have been going wrong for them. So I'm not sure if this is kind of factoring into the back of their minds right now, but you can see there's a heavy focus on towards this A side. 4 players there, just the one is going to be zEVES on the B side with the FAMAS, and a very slow round from FlipSid.
He's going to be able to spot the feet when they come. He's got the smoke and a flashbang ready, but he doesn't have a Molotov or anything. So if they really did rush him, it'd still be hard for him, I think, to stop a full rush. A lot of time has been spent this time around from the terrorist side. We're down to 40 seconds, and they do have an outrageous amount of Molotovs still been playing play. One just going to be put out there. RUBINO playing on the other side. They're spraying back and forth and not really hitting a lot of RUBINO's down to 14, but he's not getting the return damage. 28 seconds here. What's going on?
28 seconds, no casualties. The deadlock's still not lifted. And I don't think that's going to be the case for too much longer, because here come FlipSid and it's DavCost who gets the opening pick. WorldEdit is looking down. What a shot that is! Onto zende as well. RUBINO's been dropped. And it doesn't seem to matter whether they've got 25 seconds or 1.5 minutes. They're still going to be getting this bomb planted. And it is going to be yet another round to FlipSid. And that's got to be soul-destroying for Copenhagen Wolves, who, of course, just called a timeout as well.
Yeah, that's very hard to deal with. It's even a little bit hard to watch, you know, when we've got that little time left and you push and you don't lose a single player. You just pick everyone apart. You didn't even need the bomb plant. That's incredible. This,
oh my goodness,
the reaction time on WorldEdit.
Even in slow motion.
Yeah, he's not even got that many kills, but that is a bit of a message there.
Definitely,
wow.
Giving a lot of credit to what you said before we got into this game, that he has to be a consideration for one of the top AWPers, right? The guy, when he's on form, is just ridiculous. Yeah,
he's actually terrifying. And DavCost could be, I think he's not as consistent as WorldEdit, but he's actually pretty good too. Yeah. So they really do have, I mean, and you were talking about FlipSid being potentially really good on the CT side as well. They've got that double up capability if they wanted to.
Exactly. And when DavCost first joined, obviously after Simple left, just kind of talking over this round a tiny bit, because obviously it's not much hope for Copenhagen Wolves. But when he first joined, he was the AWPer for a little while before WorldEdit decided to go for it full time as well. So yeah, they've got a lot of versatility on their team. And maps like Train, this is definitely going to work for them. And obviously, I think that we do have, is it Mirage coming up, and then Cash after that would be the decider if we need it. And those maps, you know, the Yorks, again, they're so important.
Absolutely. I mean, Copenhagen Wolves have got a really, really tough task ahead of them on this map, but maybe even on the next couple of maps here. At some point, I guess we have to mention the fact that bondik is 14-3-1 as well. That's ridiculous. And Blade right behind him, in-game leading and also just carrying this team generally at 12-3. This is ridiculous right now. Now we also have to sort of bring up the fact that this also feels like Copenhagen Wolves just maybe coming into this match a bit cold. You know, like, they don't seem like a team that are super fired up and motivated to play here. Because in London, they were playing much better than this. So it could be a combination of map, it's the early game, and they had a really bad start. Like, these factors combined, I think, are amounting to a bit of a meltdown.
Yeah, and I feel like Train is such an unforgiving map as well. Like, if you're not warmed up, if you're making mistakes, they get punished super hard. So I think that's kind of what we're seeing right now. They do have an open player. RUBINO's going to be picking that one up for Copenhagen Wolves, who are still yet to get themselves on the board. Round 11 on FlipSid with a fantastic half, whatever happens from this moment on. Again, it's a very slow round. Not really doing a great deal with this one, just trying to feel out. RUBINO misses the shot on the cross. It would have been a pretty sick shot had he have landed it. But the Molotov and smoke is potentially to force him out of position, and in doing so now does give a bit of an advantage to FlipSid once more.
It means RUBINO has a harder time trying to count exactly how many people they spotted one, but he's not sure if it's another 2 or 3 people waiting down there. So we can tell the bomb is still up there, and DavCost is going to be taking down jkaem as they make their way out. Pop Dog, it's going to leave Twist on the side with the M4. A lot of people coming from, and Blade actually just running on top of the train. Doesn't even really stop, it seems, to get that shot. RUBINO with a good kill on Blade. You gotta wonder if it isn't too late. They kind of gotta fight. They can't give up on a round like this. They have to try and make this 10-5. They are gonna go for it.
Definitely looks to be the case. Markelov heavy flashed and will be taken down from zende, who goes for that peek, but realizing that time is pretty scarce, they're going to back away, save the weapons up for the next round. That, of course, will put them 11-0 behind.
Wow. I'm kind of shocked at that. I feel like you might as well try and go for it here, because what's the point in playing for 11-4? I mean, the difference between 11-4 and 15-0 doesn't even seem that big here. They had 2 kits as well and didn't have another grenade chest, but I would have liked to have seen Copenhagen Wolves try and fight that.
I guess it shows the mentality, though, that they're wanting to graft, they're wanting to work for this, and they still feel they've got a chance, maybe. You know, that could be a positive sign for them.
Yeah, I mean, you could be right. I hope that's the reasoning behind this. They're saying if we get 11-4, we win the pistol second half, then we get to 11-7, and then we can make it back. I hope it's a positive thing and not a we're never going to do this. Let's just save whatever we have.
Yeah, and it feeds into what you said earlier as well, with this not being a best of one. So it's not a case of, you know, they lose this map, that's it, they're dead and buried. They can still bounce back. This, of course, was FlipSid's choice of map as well, I believe. So
yeah,
Copenhagen Wolves have their choice to fall back on, which will be Mirage. That being said, they have picked up the first frag. Again, another healthy buy-up because that saved 3 weapons in the last round. zEVES goes for a peek. No, actually decides against it at the last second. Just be hiding in the smoke instead. Now, angry terrorists right in front of him. They're starting to push down. I think he's actually blocking one of them. He's going to allow them to run straight past, and zende's doing the damage. Finally, he comes out of position. There's the first frag for him. Is he going to get answered back on? No, not just yet. He manages to rush all the way through, spins around, and picks off DavCost. What a strange, messy round that was. And finally, Copenhagen Wolves have a round on the board.
That is so weird. I think in any other position on the map, if you bump into someone and you're not moving, you're going to start shooting because you're going to realize there's someone in the smoke. But in that exact position, there's actually a chance you could sort of be running in something else. Like, I think you can sort of, there's a ledge a little bit further up. So probably they felt like, you know, oh, I'm getting stuck on something else. That was very, very weird. But a good round. jkaem with the opening frag, a double for zEVES, double for him. It's 11-1. It's hard to get super excited about it, but it is a step in the right direction.
Oh, absolutely. You have to keep things into consideration here. You know, yes, they've got around, but they're still massively behind. And this certainly isn't an 11-4 scoreline for a half-time on Train, on T-side, I should say. At least on Dust, that would have made absolutely no sense. Ripping pepperonis.
RUBINO's down here with the AWP again. Flashbangs through, and this time they peek 2 people past him. He's going to exchange some grenades while the rest of FlipSid are setting up for what could be like a 2-2-1 type setup. DavCost opening up on Twist, and Molotov to buy a little bit of time here. jkaem now pretty feeling a bit lonely in this courtyard.
Yeah, I do like that Molotov, though. It allows him to relocate and try and get the buddy system into effect for Copenhagen Wolves. Again, though, they are a player behind. Here comes the Molotovs. That forces Zend out of position. He gets flashed as well, but does just about scurry back. And in doing so, RUBINO does chime in for his first frag of this round, and indeed Copenhagen Wolves as well. And again, with 30 seconds to play with, it's the rush onto the site. Blade is taking point, spots himself for CT, running by, and does pick himself up the frag. The final player is going to be zEVES in a 1 versus 4. Picks up the first one, spinning around, very nearly lands that headshot, and finalizes his second frag, but instead the bomb has been planted. And FlipSid looking good to make that nightmare a reality now, as Copenhagen Wolves have just broke their round loss bonus.
Yeah, you foreshadowed it earlier. You were talking about this idea that, you know, once you lose 5 rounds in a row in this iteration of Counter-Strike, you build up a round loss bonus, round for round. It sort of stops at 5, but they win a round, that means they reset the round loss bonus, and now they've got absolutely no money. So 14-1 is a very likely scoreline here for this map. That would just be devastating. They actually did survive with a couple of members, so I guess they have a little bit to buy here, but you can tell they've got almost no grenades. If FlipSid play it as slowly as they have in the past, they're going to have nothing left to try and hold with, and certainly nothing to retake with.
Yeah, and no defuse kits at all.
Yeah.
And FlipSid have consistently got that bomb planted, like pretty much throughout their entirety on the T side. So it's definitely, I think, a fair statement to say it's likely they'll get another one down here, especially with the lack of utility. Here come the smokes, though, playing it maybe a tiny bit more aggressive than the previous rounds.
Oh, but look at this flank coming in here. Twist has made his way behind, and that allows for a huge rotation into B. So lack of grenades might be less of a factor, but bondik's going to get the opening frag. Twist goes down from behind. Markelov was waiting and hiding for him, and now it's a 5 versus 3 here. This is just a complete disaster for the Copenhagen Wolves. RUBINO is going to pick up a kill, but jkaem, last man left, trying to see if he can get the no-scope. Not working quite, and bondik's going to drop him. Triple kill for bondik, and what is his scoreline? I've got to wonder here as we're heading into the 15th round. He has had one of the most impressive, I think, runs we've seen in the qualifier so far. 18-4-2. So what the hell is going on, Vince?
Maybe he should play with low FPS more often. What is his name? Rip FPS. It's making him focus more, I guess. Like, dude, downgrade your PC, you'll be godlike.
I only have 3 frames to hit this shot. I've got to do it.
Gotta make each of them count. And so far, so good. And yeah, the last round of the half from Copenhagen Wolves, they have pretty much nothing to play with. And that 4 is going to force their hand into a very aggressive round. And in doing so, they've already lost 2 players. Make that a 3rd as well. RUBINO's the only player to answer back with the CZ. And this round is going the way of FlipSid as well, barring a miracle. 14-1/2 potentially. That is ridiculous. I don't think I've seen that too often.
No.
On Train.
Me neither. This is quite a performance here. FlipSid, 14-1. Completely annihilating Copenhagen Wolves. I mean, you did pick, you know, seeing through walls as your potential superpower. I think Copenhagen Wolves would benefit from that right now. That'd be helpful in this game.
Not to be too harsh, I'm not even sure if that would help them too much though. the way that FlipSid are playing.
Then they finish like 10-5 in the half maybe. They get like in a couple of rounds there.
Indeed.
I don't often advocate for this kind of thing, but I think at this point you might just try and say, let's just forget about this map. Like, just, you know, move on here. I think that very often there's a lot to be gained from continuing to fight, but I think maybe you should just shrug and say, okay, let's never play Train again, and we'll just move on now. You know, we've got the next map coming up, and we're going to win that.
Just kind of like free yourself from the burden of this map, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, just play each round at a time, try and relax, keep your eye in, try and get in the zone for Mirage, you know, and then bounce back in that map.
Yeah.
Because this map, you could do so much work. Like, you could drag this back to, like, I don't know, 14-8, 14-9, but you make one mistake, lights out.
Yeah.
It's still done.
You're going to be gone, yeah. And I think that is part of the problem here. Well, second half is coming up. It's going to be FlipSid starting, CT side, and Copenhagen Wolves on the terrorist side. And a good mix here of armor and grenades, especially on FlipSid. They've got 3 people at least who have something that isn't armor.
Yeah, Copenhagen Wolves are taking well, I was going to say taking a leaf out of the playbook of FlipSid, but they're much more stacked on this B side. We saw that FlipSid, when they were on the T side, were fanning out a lot more and were much slower than this onto the site. But maybe this is going back to that point, just freeing yourself up, just pushing onto the site, having a bit of fun, plant that bomb, and all the pressure on the shoulders of FlipSid. They do have more than enough to retake the site, though, Anders, and this could very much be a reality here.
mean, RUBINO was trying to see if he could flank here, but he's maybe a little bit too fast, and he ends up dropping now. Blade with the kill, and now they're going to set up for the retake. WorldEdit putting up a smoke already. There's Markelov landing a headshot on Twist, and on the bomb site itself, zende still trying to stay alive and glocking away, but WorldEdit coming in from one angle. He's going to get the kill. Markelov helping out. It's now a second kill, and zEVES, the last man left. They're defusing inside the smoke. He's got the kill. zEVES can't find it. He's trying to stab. He misses. No! And it's going to be the defuse flip side. They win the round regardless. And look at that cheeky smile on Markelov. That's ridiculous. He ran into him with the knife and was going to stab him right in the spine, and then it still doesn't work out. What is this games, Vince? I can't believe it.
How close was he to connecting any of those bullets as well into the head with the Glock? That would have been it. Runs in with the knife, misses the knife, 15-1. And to be fair, like, that last 10 seconds pretty much sums up the entirety of Train. Like, that in a nutshell is like, FlipSid just have everything going their way.
Oh, Copenhagen Wolves are going to need therapy after this map. This is very bad indeed. FlipSid having a grand old time playing Train. That's going to be 16-1, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure what the scoreboard said for bondik and Blade at the end there, but ridiculous performance, obviously.
And it just goes to show that, like, we were all completely wrong, because everyone I think on the couch as well said this would be a really close best of 3. That first map, get wrecked. Like that. Just what else can you say? Like, you can't even analyze that.
No, you really can't. You just have to sit back for a while and just you know, enjoy and admire it a little bit. Hell of a performance on FlipSid, looking to qualify for the major. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back with Mirage after this quick break.